Hello, beans. Hello, hello.
Welcome back to Tiny Bunny Part 4. How are you guys doing today? To be honest, my day has been very busy. I took apart the shelves with my mom. I also, what is it? I went with her to fetch a bean bag, but it was like one of those humongous bean bags, and the person said it was like only a medium, which is purely insane because the thing is fucking big. And then my dad got upset over it. Then we just explained to him that we'll sell it eventually, and yeah, but all's good. Let's continue. My dogs love it.
Антон,
Anton,
пожалуйста, пожалуйста,
please, please,
посмотри.
look. She couldn't hear her eyes. She couldn't tear her eyes off the window, as if it was a staring contest. I found a light switch with my hand. The lamp poured bright light all over me. I got up. My vision fooled me, moving the window closer, only to push it farther the next moment. My sister was just a blurry spot. I took a hesitant step forward.
Оль,
Olya,
что там?
what's there?
Что-то случилось?
What happened?
Ты хочешь, чтобы я открыл шторы?
Do you want me to open the curtains?
Нет, не надо.
No, please don't.
Там же сова.
The owl is there. The voice was coming from behind. I turned around and froze from terror. Oh shit. Teary-eyed Olya stood in the doorway.
С кем?
Who
С кем ты разговаривал, братик?
are you talking to right now? She stared at me with eyes that were red from crying, with her hands wrapped around her shoulders. Her voice was nervous, as if she was afraid to hear my answer.
Я разговаривал с тобой.
I was
Тем,
talking
кто
to you,
притворился
to
тобой.
someone who pretended to be you. The ledge outside my windows creaked ominously, as if something huge was sitting on top of it. Ooh. And the thing that pretended to be Olya started spreading, changing shape, growing to scary heights under the light of a carnivorous moon. Anton, please. Come closer. Come here. The voice didn't belong to my sister anymore. The thing that was hiding behind my curtains got tired of pretending, making me feel like a fool. I pinched myself as hard as I could, hoping that the silhouette near the window was just a continuation of my nightmare, a hallucination brought upon by the cursed house, and those don't bite, do they? The silhouette was towering before me under the veil of mist. I heard Olya's shrill scream when someone had knocked on the window. Knock, knock.
Она пришла за нами.
It came to get us. Another knock. I stepped back into the middle of the room, as if there existed hooks where I could hide from this horror. Knock, knock. The sound was sharp, metallic. The lamp started shimmering. Then it suddenly lighted the whole room and went out, like a candle in the strong wind. The filament inside it snapped with a ringing sound. My eyes. The darkness that was waiting for that exact moment poured from all the angles and enveloped me. There was only this window left in the whole universe. Moonlight poured through it, painting everything the color of bones that were exhumed from a crypt. Olya started squealing and pressed herself into my back, seeking protection. And then an eye, burning with a carnivorous fire, stared at us from the window. Knock, 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 knock. No, it wasn't trying to break the window. It was toying with us. It just kept on knocking, driving us mad. Knock, 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 knock. As if a giant clock was measuring the time left for us, its pendulum swinging above the abyss.
Уходи! Убирайся! Пошла прочь!
Go away! Get out! Shoo! She was screaming in desperation, her hands clutching my arm like a pair of pincers. Anton! Anton! Come closer. I could barely make out a pair of wings that spread out above the black spot.
Скажи ей, Антон!
Tell her, Anton!
Скажи, что я больше не буду себя плохо вести!
Tell her that I won't be a bad girl anymore.
Никогда!
Never ever.
Только пусть она уйдет!
I just want to leave. I just wanted to leave.
Пожалуйста!
Please. The moonlight suddenly disappeared and the room descended into darkness. We couldn't see the burning eye anymore. I swallowed the stingy lump that was stuck in my throat. I stepped toward the curtains, entranced by the call of this disfigured guest.
Не буду, не буду, не буду, не буду!
Oya was standing behind me, mumbling, "I'll be good, I'll be good, I'll be good." The bleak window was creeping closer, curtains rustled. I reached out to move them aside so I could look my fear in the eye. At that moment, I heard noise coming from our parents' bedroom. Without thinking, I pulled the curtain to the side in one swing. Nothing. Ooh, nothing. Though there was something shining on the edge among the scattered feathers. Oh shit, it's his glasses. Didn't that one kid take them? My glasses. The ones that Simeon took from me. Oh no. Oh shit. How did they get you? Was that a gift from the gurgling night? Did that owl really bring them here? I looked at the front yard, at the foreboding clearing, at the toothy forest. Not a soul, not a trace of our late night guest. Only the old lamppost, dreaming like a lone watchman among the snowy desert. The dry window frame creaked. I tore away the insulating tape and the stipes of glued newspaper. Window insulation. Before plastic windows became widely accessible in Russia, the cracks in frames of wooden windows were filled with cotton or pieces of cloth and sealed with self-adhesive tape or strips of newspaper soaked in soapy water to conserve heat in winter. Huh, that's interesting. I never knew that, although I don't know a lot about Russia. Opened the window with big trouble. Frost pinned me with its little needles. The paintings on my walls moved from the draft. I touched my glasses, sure they would melt in my hands, but they were real. My brain was scrambling for an explanation. Simeon and his gang just pulled a prank on me. That was it. That's it. A smooth white blanket was glittering under the street lamp just outside our yard. If anybody was to get close to the house, to climb the pipe to the ledge of my window, they would surely leave footprints, but there were none. I cautiously took my glasses. My wrist was still intact. Nobody pulled me into the darkness full of restless writhing.
Вы
Why?
почему не спите?
Why aren't you in bed? I swayed from surprise and almost fell out the window.
Совсем сдурели?
Are you out of your mind?
Жарко, что ли?
Did it feel hot in here?
Не болели давно?
Do you want to catch a cold?
Там сова была! Тоша ее прогнал!
The owl was here. Tosha chased it away.
А ну-ка марш спать к себе в комнату!
Go to your room immediately and get in your bed.
А с тобой?
And you. Mom paused, directing her seething eyes at me. She was thinking of a punishment equivalent to my crime. In the end, she just waved her hand, took Oya by the shoulder and left, throwing gloomy words my way.
Завтра поговорим.
We'll talk tomorrow. I managed to get the frame back in place with a couple of hits, pressed in the latches with all the strength my fingers could muster. The cold left the room, but the fear was still present. I placed my glasses on my nose and started studying my reflection in the window. It didn't look like a face, more like a death mask, just like the one worn by the boy from the notice board. That night, I was on the edge of joining him there. A black and white face was staring at me through the clearing between student heads. Oh, fuck. Attention, child missing, Simeon Baburin, 13 years old, grade 6B. He left for school in the morning of January 9th and never returned. Features, 155 to 160 centimeters tall, chubby, ginger hair and gray eyes. Was wearing a dark brown sheepskin coat, a beige scarf, a black mink hat, and Alaska boots. Please call these numbers if you have any information on Simeon's whereabouts. And it wasn't Volva. His face was right beside it. I recognized the fat cheeks, the damaged skin. Simeon. But Burin's photo was printed out and placed under the glass like an exhibition piece. Oh, shite. Episode 3. On end, the wolf's grey fur will stand. He's the one who hated Baburin. You think he did it? I heard he's a weirdo. I hurriedly rubbed my glasses. The glasses. Simeon was clutching them in his fist while I was getting beaten up. And in just a couple of hours, this lost item was lying on the ledge of my window. It was hard to imagine that Sioma suddenly got guilty conscience and returned my glasses in such a strange way. I was shocked, but kept walking toward the classroom, accompanied by nasty whispers all around me. That photo still stood before my eyes. Simeon has gone missing. Simeon is gone. His fat fingers will never get my throat. His signet ring won't smash into my chin. He'll never humiliate me again. Wasn't that what I wished for? On the other hand, did I really wish Simeon to become a murky stain on the notice board? He was still someone's son, or a grandson, and he went through the same struggles as me. Did I really wish for my unseen companion to dispatch him in such a brutal fashion? I didn't know the answer, or I was just scared of it. Nonetheless, school still had something nice about it. Ah, it's Paulina again. The girl with the violin was like a mountain spring, like well water that you gulp down, pressing your lips against the zinc outer ring of a bucket, and can't ever get enough. What if I make her one of the characters in the story I'll draw? The protagonist will save her from terrifying monsters. As soon as I thought of monsters, a bunch of my classmates slid down the rails, smirking like the xenomorphs from the Alien. Okay. I immediately felt larvae of fear writhe in my stomach. I didn't want to cross paths with Romka and Biasha after what happened yesterday, especially since Simeon suddenly went missing. I entered the classroom and went toward the last row. All of the chatter suddenly died down so I walked there in complete silence. It felt like my classmates pushed and poked me with their stares. They carefully observed my every move. They looked at me with a mortifying mix of pity, ridicule, and derision, like a scientist looks at an ugly representation of a newfound species of worms. I stared at the desk with a huge pile of library textbooks on top, my fists clenched. It felt like I was the one who disappeared in that snowy forest and my desk was finally used for something worthwhile. Simeon's empty chair stood in front of me, the chair that once belonged to Vova gathered dust somewhere in another classroom. Everybody, every boy my age I knew had something like this in his arsenal. Powder firecrackers that blow up with a very loud sound, especially inside an archway. It is said that they're produced in China and that a single one of them can blow your fingers off if you light it up and clutch it in your hand, especially the black corsair type. There won't be enough to blow up plastic soldiers, but when it comes to stuff made of plaster, they should work. I looked at the portraits of classical writers. My eyes stopped on Isnin's photo. Last year, I was tasked with learning any poem, and my dad suggested I learned one about the dog Jim, written by Isnin. I don't remember all the stanzas by now, uh, but the last one was somehow deeply ingrained in my mind. I'm sure she'll come here in my absence. Please catch her eye. Go kiss her hand for me. For all my real or fancied errors, asking forgiveness of her in humility. An old cheap slide projector. I called this model a tank because it looked like one. There was a time when I had a lot of cool fairy tales that we used to watch with Dad in complete darkness. I remember Little Raccoon and One Who Sits in the Pond, Clippings, Mowgli, and many others. I was immediately swept away by the memory of the projector's hum, of its hot casing, of its bright rays hitting the wall, turning it into a screen. It's a pity that the school slides were mostly about minerals and PSAs. Anywhere else? No. After a moment of hesitation, I sat down at Baburin's desk, the place where I was supposed to be assigned by Lilia Pavlovna at first. The chatter resumed, as if someone just imposed a movie.
Бабушка Бабурина такой кипиш устроила, когда он домой не явился.
Baburin's grandmother made such a fuss when he didn't return home.
Сначала в школу прибежала, потом ментов вызвала.
First she ran to the school, then called the cops.
Да-да-да.
Yes. Katya snuck a cunning glance at me, then leaned into her neighbor and whispered something. Girls from the second row also leaned in. She shared something with them too. Whispers, nods. I kept catching her stare on myself. Her neighbor stared too. The whole class was watching me. It was like they felt the need to watch me because they were searching for traces of blood on my fingers. I wanted to defend myself and shout, "Guys, listen, I'm innocent!" Yeah, I don't think you should do that. The delinquents turned around and stared at me in silence. Their looks were dripping with malice. But why? What did I do to them? Their friend went missing and they're still focused on me. Suddenly I noticed Biasha drilling a hole in my nose with his eyes. It felt like he was about to point his finger at me and shout at the top of his lungs, "Everybody look! Babarin snatched his glasses yesterday, and now he has them back. Murderer!" But he remained silent as if there was nothing special at all about my glasses. I may be going mad, but I think Biasha knows something. He knows something, but he won't tell me what. As if looking for protection, I clutched the ruler until my hand hurt.
Не надо быть Коломбо, чтобы догадаться.
You don't have to be Columbo to solve this. Columbo, an American crime drama television series starring Peter Falk as Columbo, a homicide detective with the Los Angeles Police Department. Kind of like, what is it, Sherlock Holmes?
Кто на Бабурина зуб имел?
Who held a grudge against Baburin?
Кто его вчера ударил?
Who hit him yesterday?
Издевался, а после...
Bullied him, and then the metal ruler fell out of my weak fingers. It hit the floor with a jingle, and that made the other kids shudder. Katya bit her tongue and squirmed nervously. Chairs scraped against the floor. My classmates moved away from me, closer to the exit, toward the teacher's desk. I was not the only one to catch wind of that change. Ronka and Biosha looked around and winced in contempt. Too bad they weren't afraid of me like everyone else.
Да прикуси ты!
Shut it.
Бабурин, небось, с бабкой посрался и дымил на.
I bet Baburin just got a weapon from his old hag and ran off.
Скоро найдется.
They'll find him soon.
Найдется, ага.
They'll find him all right.
Во враге, со вспоротым брюхом.
In a ravine with his stomach cut open. Do you really have to be that intense? I gulped. I imagined Sioma on a snowy blanket, his face white like a fish belly, split down the middle by the crevice of his mouth, snowflakes falling on his glassy eyes and filling up his throat. See? I could almost hear his condensing tone. It's all your fault. But why was Simeon the only one getting his just desserts for bullying me? Weren't all of them supposed to disappear? Romka, Biasha, Katya, along with every laughing onlooker? Of course, Simeon did me a favor by disappearing. Thanks to him, my classmates now stared at me in awe. But that was only one side of the coin. What if I'll have to repay that favor soon? The door creaked. Paulina entered the classroom. I straightened up in a hurry so she wouldn't see me looking like a scared critter. Paulina went to her seat without looking at me. The ringer's troll announced the start of the class.
Так, заканчиваем бардак. Дети, встаньте.
Alright, stop messing around, class, stand up.
Петров, тебя это тоже касается.
You too, Petrov. Lilia Pavlovna went to her desk, followed by a policeman in a uniform. It was the man that visited us just recently, tall and his stare so sharp you could cut on it.
Здрасте.
Hello there, kids.
Здравствуйте!
Hi.
Садитесь.
You can sit down, kids.
Познакомьтесь. Это старший лейтенант Константин Владимирович Тихонов.
I'm going to butcher this, so if there are any Slavic people watching, I apologize. This is Senior Lieutenant Konstantin Vladimirovich Tikhonov.
Он задаст вам несколько вопросов и проведет небольшую лекцию по безопасности.
He's going to ask you a couple of questions and give you a small PSA.
Лучше лекция от милиционера, чем уроки.
The class livened up. Talking to a policeman was way better than studying. I, on the other hand, was ready to sit through hundreds of hours of Russian literature just to escape the lieutenant's oppressive stare. His brown eyes felt around the classroom, looking for me. Hair stood on the back of my neck, and an icicle had lodged in my gut.
А правда, что Бабурина маньяк убил?
Is it true that Baburin got killed by a serial killer?
Екатерина, ну-ка цыц.
Shush,
Вопросы здесь взрослые задают.
Shush, Ekaterina. Let the adults ask questions here.
Просто нам всем страшно.
We're all scared.
Может, убийца бродит где-то рядом?
Maybe the killer is somewhere close.
Или сидит у нас за спиной?
Maybe they're even sitting among us. Listen, lady, you can't see my middle finger right now, but here it is. Her sly stare was directed at me. Oh, you liked that, didn't you? How about a double middle finger? It's called the birdie. Stupid. Tikhonov stepped in between the rows of desks and started walking at an excruciatingly slow pace, brushing his fingers against the chairs he passed by. Some of the students almost broke their necks following his movements. That's how a crowd of commoners would gleefully anticipate a public execution in the Middle Ages. And he just walked, getting closer and closer to me. I gritted my teeth to stop myself from screaming. Calm down. Breathe. You didn't kill or kidnap anyone. He already knew the answer to his question, but the policeman still asked in a stern voice.
Петров Антон?
Anton Petrov.
Да.
Yes.
Встань, Петров.
Stand up, Petrov. My muscles turned to stone. I got up and glued myself from the chair. I felt like I could hear my joints creak in the process. I only wish that Paulina wouldn't turn around and see the grimace of horror on my face. If only I could see somewhere far away, in the forest, be somewhere far away, in the forest, digging myself into a snow pile, rolling up in a ball there. The officer stared at me as if he was about to lock a pair of handcuffs on my wrists. I wonder how cold these bracelets are to the touch. I imagined myself getting jailed and put into a juvenile detention center where tens of simians would constantly harass me.
Я ничего не знаю. Я тут ни при чем.
I don't know anything. I have nothing to do with this.
А тебя никто и не обвиняет.
Nobody's accusing you of anything.
Пока что.
For now. Only then I noticed a file that said case number in his hand. It had a grey cover made from rough cotton. It flopped onto my desk like a guillotine blade that slid down on someone's neck. With a measured motion, Tekhanov opened the file, still studying me with his gaze. I caught a glimpse of documents and photos. They showed prints on the snow. They looked like animal prints.
Ты с Семеном Бабуриным общался?
Have you talked to Semyon Baburin before?
Я знал его всего одну неделю.
I only knew him for a week.
Все знают, Петров его ненавидел.
Everyone knows that Petrov hated him. I turned red. You ugly bitch. Yeah, I don't like her either. I wanted to sink my teeth into Katya's face and chew out her cheek. Instead, I replied with the calmest voice I could muster.
Мы повздорили вчера.
We had a fight yesterday,
Но он первый начал.
but he started it,
Я его ударил.
so I hit him.
Сильно?
How hard did you hit him?
Да нет, так.
Not that hard, I waved my hand indecisively. Tekhanov looked at my fist as if he was surprised that I managed to hit the big kid from the photo. Surprisingly, Lilia Pavlovna came to my rescue.
Бабурин проблемный подросток. С шилом кое-где.
Baburin is a trouble teen, a true pain in the rear. The officer replied with a meaningful nod and fished out a notebook out of the file.
Это твое?
Is this yours? I averted my gaze. It was a math notebook with my name on it. My classmates devoured me greedily with their eyes. It felt like even the writers on the portrait squinted at me in suspicion.
Мое.
Yes.
В лесу нашли.
We found it in the forest,
Там же тракторист, что снег убирал в последний раз, видел Бабурина.
in the area where the tractor driver who was plowing snow there last saw Baburin. I started blinking in bewilderment. Romka ransacked my school bag. His notebook probably just got lost somewhere in the bushes. This notebook. The lieutenant knew about the school brawl, but was he aware of the fight in the forest clearing? I had witnesses that could testify to Simeon, and I walked in different directions after that. I looked toward the boys, hopeful. Romka, who sat behind Tekhanov, put a finger to his lips. And when the officer quickly turned around, he pretended to pick on his nose. I deciphered his signal. Boys like Romka would probably say something like, "Snitches get stitches," in a situation like this. I frantically fixed my glasses. Wait, Simeon took them away yesterday, but now they're...
Так что ты делал вчера в лесу, Антон?
So what were you doing in the forest yesterday, Anton?
Я в школу через лес хожу.
I go to school through the forest.
Могла выпасть легко.
It could have easily fallen out of my bag. Easily, just like me producing his half-truth.
Будь осторожнее.
Be careful out there. Before I could realize whether it was a genuine piece of advice or a veiled threat, the teacher said,
Класс. А сейчас лейтенант расскажет о правилах, которые вам необходимо соблюдать.
Class officer will now tell you about some rules you should follow.
Так маньяк все-таки есть.
So the killer does exist.
Пока мы ничего вам сказать не можем.
We can't make any of this public for now.
Но есть преступник или нет, вы должны четко помнить о собственной безопасности.
Whether the criminal really exists or not, you should be mindful of your safety.
Вас бережет милиция. Вас опекают родители и учителя. Но в первую очередь защищать себя должны вы сами.
The police, your parents, and your teachers all watch over you, but no one guards you better than yourself.
Итак, кто там что хотел узнать?
Alright, any questions? A stockade of arms rose from the desks.
У вас оружие с собой? А покажите пистолет.
The kids shouted over each other, swarming the policemen with questions. In an attempt to calm down that chorus, he moved toward the blackboard. The grey file was left lying in front of me. I stared at it. My breathing was ragged, that I might have looked like someone who just ran a 100-meter sprint. Beads of sweat rolled down my back. I looked around the classroom. My classmates were catching officers' every word. Only Romka was saying something to Biasha.
Так.
Lilia Pavlovna was staring into the window, fighting back yawns.
Объявлять комендантский час причин пока нет. Слишком мало времени прошло с момента исчезновения вашего одноклассника.
I'm going to open this. Oh shit. Oh, okay. As soon as I touched the folder, Tikhonov lashed at me with his eyes. My hand instinctively moved away as if that stare actually hurt. The officer just kept staring at me without saying a word, making me squirm under the weight of this uncomfortable silence and the sneering looks of my classmates. And then he suddenly continued his speech as if nothing ever happened.
Мы все уверены, что он найдется живым и здоровым.
Okay, not supposed to do that.
Но сразу после уроков.
Officer finished his lecture and started searching around with his eyes. Finally, he noticed the folder he left on my desk, put it suddenly under his arm, and went toward the blackboard without looking back.
И еще раз.
Let me say this again.
Если вы заметите в поселке кого-то подозрительного, неважно, возле школы или на лесной тропинке, сразу сообщайте в милицию.
If you see anyone suspicious in the village, be it near the school or on the forest trail, contact the police immediately.
Телефон-то знаете?
You know a number, right? 02.
Спасибо, ребята.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls.
Спасибо, Лилия Павловна.
Thank you, Lilia Pavlovna.
И это... Одноклассника вашего мы найдем.
And we'll find your classmate. Yeah, right, a thought flashed through my mind. Dig through enough ditches and maybe you'll be able to piece them together. Like Legos. My thoughts turned evil for some reason and I couldn't control them. I tried to switch to the lieutenant's speech about suspicious individuals. What if I saw the killer before? What if I was a hair's breadth away from them? Suspicious people. How suspicious was the fox girl that wandered in the darkness? A weirdo that always appears out of nowhere and then dissolves into thin air with her riddles and rhymes. Could she really harm the whole King Simeon? Should I tell the officer about her? I mean, the dude's friend literally kicked the dog. If he went missing, I would like not even give a shit. I don't give a shit. He deserves it. I mean, like, no one deserves to go missing, but like, yeah. I don't know. Wait, what if I get mocked for speaking out? What if they'll start whispering behind my back, or what's even worse, think that I'm insane? Romka gave me a stern look over the shoulder. I doubt someone like him would approve of cooperating with that police. Katya's braid dangled nervously behind the delinquents sitting in front of me. My hand was glued to the desk.
До свидания,
Check.
лейтенант.
Tikhonov was saying goodbye to Lilia Pavlovna. He was about to leave. It'll be too late soon. Stay silent. Ooh, I'm going to tell him. I unplugged my palm from the tabletop. I need to warn him, at the very least, for all your sake, to assure her safety in the house near the squeaky pines. I raised my hand, heavy as a dumbbell.
Простите.
Excuse me. Oh shit, hello. Almost 24 heads turned my way. My teacher, the officer, Polina, Katya shoved an elbow into her friend's side. Sleepy Biasha stretched out his neck. Rumka frowned inquiringly.
Я слушаю.
I'm listening. It felt like I was being stupid. It felt like I was being studied under a microscope.
Вчера утром по дороге в школу я видел незнакомого человека.
Yesterday, when I was walking to school in the morning, I saw an unfamiliar person. My classmates started whispering. Tikhonov frowned, a deep wrinkle adorning the space between his eyebrows.
Да откуда ему знать, чужак это или кто-то из местных?
There's no way he'd be able to tell if it was an outsider or a local.
Он же в поселке без году неделя.
He just moved to our village. The other kid smirked. Katya flashed an evil smile.
Спокойствие.
Calm down.
Антон, а сможешь детальнее описать?
Can you describe them in more detail, Anton? Then it dawned on me. I can do more than describe them. What I can do,
Я нарисовать могу.
I can draw them. Ooh, nice. Do it.
Я рисую немного.
I know how to draw, kind of. After spitting out this confession, I expected everyone to laugh, but that didn't happen. Even Katya stayed silent. Polina tilted her head and studied me with an intrigued look on her face. I was pleased by this wave of attention. Made me feel bolder, so I asked,
Нарисовать?
"Do you want me to?" Tikhonov slowly nodded.
Лиль Павловна, мы тут проведем следственный эксперимент. А?
Lilia Pavlovna, we'll conduct a bit of an experiment here, alright?
Пожалуйста, пожалуйста.
Of course, of course. I took out a pen, flattened out a sheet of paper. My classmates stared at me in anticipation. Polina smiled, and it was the best reward I could get from my boldness.
Ну что, Ван Гог, рисуй.
Well, go on, Van Gogh, draw. Okay, I'm drawing. Oh, shh. Okay, I'm drawing. Let's see. Can I draw any? That's pretty cool. Oh no, I can actually... Oh no. I can actually draw her. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna draw her. This guy definitely looks like a killer. Ooh, nice hair, buddy. Love those locks. Yeah, there we go.
Вот, пожалуйста.
Here. I could have actually drawn Elisa. Oh no. I handed the drawing over to the officer.
И кто это, по-твоему?
And who might that be?
Лилия Павловна, не узнаете?
Do you
Случаем не
recognize
ваш трудовик?
this person, Lilia Pavlovna? Is this by any chance your arts and crafts teacher? My homeroom teacher squinted, trying to have a close look at my drawing.
Какая отвратительная рожа.
What a nasty mug.
Да это батя Петрова! Ха-ха-ха!
You know I'm gonna knock your ass out next. This must be Petrov's old man. Ha ha ha. It felt like windows shuttered from all the surrounding laughter.
Вообще. А ну, цыц!
Lilia Pavlovna hissed at the class, and the commotion died down. But I was already burning at the stake of shame.
Все ясно.
Case
Что тут
closed, I
еще
guess.
скажешь?
Tikhonov folded my drawing and threw it into the folder.
Ну, занимайтесь.
Well, I'll be going. He left. The bell rang. Nut job.
Придушный.
I didn't move, just kept staring into space. Lilia Pavlovna passed by without looking my way. Polina left after her. My classmates went silent at the same time, as if someone muted the sound on the TV. They followed me with their eyes the whole time I was passing between the rows. Just mental looks. Felt like hours in the scopes of many sniper rifles. I squeezed through the barricade made of desks, looking for Polina. But I stumbled into my new buddies instead. What you want, prick? Romka swaggered up to me.
Решил сдать нас ментам?
Decided to rat us out to the cops?
Но я ничего не сказал.
I didn't say anything, and besides, it was the right thing to do. Like you guys would know what the right thing to do would be.
Да то подумал на.
But sure as fuck thought about it, eh? Romka towered over me, breathing out a faint smell of tobacco.
Ты сильно ошибаешься, думая, что без Сёмы у тебя настанут веселые деньки.
You're very wrong if you think that without Sioma, you'll have a better time here.
Можешь не притворяться дурачком, пытаясь удивить Полину своей мазнёй или корчить из себя психа.
You can stop your weird act trying to impress Polina with your doodles or by acting like a loony.
Мы тебя сосвету сживем, понял?
We'll make this place hell for you, got it?
До скорого, очкарик.
See you, Four Eyes. My head tilted forward with his slap.
Вот the лохна!
What a loser, eh? I wasn't surprised to find a note stuck to my back during the break. It said, "Kick me." This poor dude. My nightmare clearly wasn't about to end. It's been 7 days since the lieutenant visited our class. At first glance, everything was still the same. The forest still held out its gnarly claws toward the village, and the wind whipped up white flags weaved from powdery snow every night. When my parents argued in the other room, I would turn up the TV's volume to silence their muffled voices and sit close to Olya. Volva's and Simeon's photos were still 2 black spots on the notice board. But something did change. I could see how different the looks on my classmates were. They met me with a new portion of pokes and insults. Contempt, mockery, and loneliness became my faithful companions. But most importantly, a shadow slid across my desk, leaving behind a mysterious note. I glanced into the space between rows, but the messenger was already nowhere to be found. Who sent me this note? What could this carefully ripped out and neatly folded piece of paper be hiding from me? More threats and humiliation, or... I took the piece of paper and carefully inhaled the wafting aroma. Blackberry. Inside was a message in a beautiful handwriting. I'm waiting at a dead end near the dressing room. Come alone. I hope this isn't a trick. Drunk on that sudden call, I immediately started walking, looking over my shoulder from time to time, making sure nobody's following me. Even though I suspected it could be another trap set by Romka and Biasha at first, this buzzing thought soon left my mind. The two of them didn't have enough combined brain power to fake Paulina's note so carefully. I didn't even notice how I almost broke into a run and jumped around the corner. As soon as I did that, I ran into somebody inside the dark nook.
Ой!
Ow! Like a magic bird, a green notebook glided to my feet. Paulina puffed her cheeks in exaggerated anger.
Петров! Да ты совсем зрение потерял.
Petrov, have you lost your sight completely? I fixed my glasses. My nearsightedness wasn't that embarrassing anymore. I bent down and picked up the notebook.
Прости, я так торопился. Ты меня ждала? Что случилось?
Sorry, I was in a rush. Were you waiting for me? Did something happen? Paulina studied me with her eyes and clicked her tongue.
А знаешь, на что ты похож, Антоша?
Do you know what you look like, Antosha?
На блюзовую импровизацию.
Like blues improv. I blinked in bewilderment.
Это как?
What do you mean?
Для меня все люди с чем-то ассоциируются.
I always associate people I know with something.
И для меня, но не с музыкой же.
I do that too, but why music?
Вот как раз с музыкой.
It can't be anything other than music.
Бывают люди гитарные соло. Или барабанный бой. Или военный марш, как наша Лилия Павловна.
Some people...
А ты
Oh
такой
shit, wait.
задумчивый.
Some people are like guitar solos. Some are drums. People like our Lilia Pavlovna are war machines. And you're so thoughtful, so mysterious, sometimes even a bit sad.
Ты точно блюз.
You're definitely blues. Well, thank you. I'll take my depression somewhere else.
А почему импровизация?
And what about the improv part?
А это когда слушатель не догадывается, куда свернет мелодия, какой темп возьмет.
It's when the listener has no idea where the melody will go, what tempo it will adopt. Of course, some of the things Paulina said went completely over my head, but I couldn't stop looking at her smile, light like a breeze in May, and her eyes deep and blue.
Чтобы распознать в тебе музыку, нужен опыт и вкус.
One needs to have experience and taste to recognize the music in you.
Это не какая-то там эстрада.
You're not some pop music.
Я, наверное, вообще не знаю, что такое этот блюз.
I don't think I even know what blues is. Paulina gasped and frowned, which made her look even more beautiful.
Не произноси при мне такие слова. Я тебе обязательно дам кассету.
Don't say something like that to my face. I'll make sure to give you a cassette.
Раньше мне дедушка из города столько музыки привозил. И джаз, и свинг, и классику.
Grandpa used to bring me so much music from the city, jazz, swing, and classical too.
Это он подметил, что у меня склад ума, как у музыканта.
He was the one to notice my musical mindset.
Я еще совсем маленькой пыталась на бумаге записать звуки природы.
When I
Пение
was-
дождя, леса.
When I was still very little, I tried recording the sounds of nature on paper, the songs of the rain and the forest.
Эх, мне бы твои уши.
I wish I had ears like yours.
А мне бы твои глаза.
And I'd love to have your eyes. This is very cute and disturbing. I tensed up, worried that she was making fun of me, but Paulina shook her head.
Да-да, я серьезно. У тебя глаза художника.
No, I'm serious. You have the eyes of an artist.
Смотришь на вещи и фиксируешь их. Я так не умею.
You're so good at picturing things. I can't do that. Oh, wow. Okay. Hello, son of a bitch. Katya walked past us with her trademark frosty glare. We drove into the shadows, trying to escape it.
Теперь понимаешь, почему мы тут прячемся? Вот из-за таких, как она.
You understand why we're hiding here, right? Because of people like her.
А Катька какая мелодия?
And what kind of melody is Katya? Paulina flashed me in a sly smile.
Скрип несмазанных дверных петель.
The squeaking sound of unoiled door hinges. Damn, that roast. Are you just gonna take that? You better. Take her
Знаешь,
to the
такой
grave,
мерзкий
motherfucker.
дискант.
You know this nasty descant. I giggled, covering my mouth.
М,
Katya didn't hear our whispers, but she suddenly glanced over her shoulder, clearly annoyed. A moment later, she sighed and went her way. I remembered about the notebook I was still clutching in my hand. I turned it in my hands. Instead of a subject name, the front side had the name of the owner and 2 words, friends only.
Любопытной Варваре кое-что оторвали.
Curiosity killed the cat, you know?
Прости, это анкета?
I'm sorry, is this a questionnaire?
Заполнял когда-нибудь?
Have you ever filled one?
Угу.
I lied that I had. In reality, girl classmates from my previous school had never asked me to fill their questionnaires. It was quite upsetting. I mean, it was a girl hobby. You just answer a set of standard questions about your favorite actors and colors, but entrusting someone with such a notebook was a sign of friendship. And maybe of something even more, something I only had a vague idea about. Love.
Хочешь, заполни мою?
You can fill in mine if you want. My heartbeat quickened.
Хочу, спасибо.
I do, thank you. Polina giggled. Aw, they're so cute.
А хотя... Там же столько секретов.
Actually, there are so many secrets there.
Наверное, лучше тебе не знать, о чем мы, девочки, думаем.
You'd be better off not knowing what we girls think. She reached for the notebook, playing with me. I tossed my finding into my free hand. Polina tried to intercept my move. Her hair briefly touched my face, tickling my nose with its silky locks. I sensed an aroma that immediately filled the whole world. Fragrant, alluring, lively. If only I could picture it, steal it from myself. I felt dizzy, but I gathered myself and spoke in a voice reminiscent of Lieutenant Tekhanov.
Ваша анкета является важнейшей уликой, и я вынужден временно изъять ее для изучения.
Your questionnaire is an important piece of evidence, so I'm afraid I have to confiscate it for further examination. Polina covered her mouth and rounded in fake horror.
И что мне грозит за сокрытие улик?
And what are the implications of concealing evidence?
Следствие покажет.
We'll decide that in the course of our own investigation.
Сдаюсь, товарищ милиционер.
I surrender, Mr. Policeman.
Только обещайте ничего не читать.
Just promise you won't read anything.
Здесь содержатся секретные сведения.
It's full of sensitive information.
Боюсь, что мне все-таки придется выяснить, не влюблен ли кто в гражданина Петрова.
I'm afraid I'll have to investigate whether someone is in love with Mr. Petrov. Polina burst out laughing and pressed herself against my chest, showering me with the aroma of her hair and her milky skin that looked almost transparent, with tiny threads of veins running under it. Her whisper was hot, like a piece of butter sizzling on a pan.
Тогда поклянитесь, что не станете разглашать информацию.
Then swear that you will keep this information private.
Честная милицейская.
I swear on my police badge.
А теперь, Антоша, самое время поторопиться.
And now we need to hurry, Antosha. I took out the notebook during class, skimmed through it, reading into other people's references. I was quite surprised to discover Romka's jerky handwriting inside. Roma Piatsevan, 6B, Shafutinsky, February. Hogging out, buying a BMW. Schwarzenegger. Don't trust, don't fret, don't ask. 3/15/87. DuckTales, Biasha. and a handprint. His letters bulged out of the ceiling. His letters bulged out of the cells, as if embarrassed by their shapelessness. Fearsome Romka found time for something so silly. I chuckled into my fist after I found out that Romka's favorite cartoon is not even Darkwing Duck, but DuckTales. Somewhere in the distance, a teacher was reciting pieces of Andreev's Snapper. I paid them no mind. Paulina's page was decorated with flower drawings and clippings from the Cool Girl magazine. Paulina Morozova, 6B, Franz Schubert. July birthday, listening, see the world, Robert Schumann, hosing the... Oh wait, I thought that was an H. Losing the people I love. 3/24/92. Town musician of Bremen and Grandpa. I feel like those codes are something, like dates. Her favorite musician is Schubert. Her best friend is her grandpa. Her hobby is not violent, like I expected, but is much more mysterious listening. Can such a mundane process really be someone's hobby? I looked at Paulina over the heads of other students. She was focused on taking notes. Questions. What's your name? What class are you in? What your favorite music? Your favorite holiday? Your hobby? What's your dream? Your hero? Your biggest fear? Your phone number? Your favorite cartoon? Your best friend? I flipped through the pages until I found a blank page and one... I flipped the pages until I found a blank one and armed myself with a pen. Anton Petrov, Class B. I took a long time to decide on my favorite musician until a trendy pop band, Carmen, came to mind with the cool dances in their music videos. Carmen, a Soviet and Russian techno-pop band most popular from the late 80s to early 90s, founded by Bogdan Titomir and Sergei Lemoka. It was mostly remembered for unique dancing performances and for writing a music theme for the Captain Pronin cartoon. Interesting. Favorite holiday? This one's easy. New Year's. My hobby is drawing. My dream, going to Disneyland, I guess. My hero, my hand moved on its own. Writing. Yes. I stopped on those two letters. What if those who read this after me will find my answer laughable and stupid? After thinking for a bit, I decided that not everything should be disclosed on paper. That's how Da turned into Spider-Man. The spelling was wrong, but who cares? Your biggest fear, huh? I immediately wrote, losing a person who's dear to me. Yeah, I understand that. Your phone number, no secret here, 30395. Your favorite cartoon, Transformers. Nice. Nice. Whoops, sorry, I pressed the escape button. Your best friend. I hesitated, gnawing on the pen's cap. Your best friend. I read the question out loud. It was easy, but at the same time very important. The answer to that was my sister's name, so I carefully wrote it into the squares. Olya. What about Elisa? As well. But I guess the sister part, yeah, the sister one is, yeah. Olya, I repeated my sister's name while sneaking out of the school. There was a cute freshly drawn dragon in my notebook that I made to please my beloved sister. In this land of darkness and deceit, her support was the only thing that inspired me to keep drawing and stopped me from losing hope in humanity. Refreshing, frosty air made my cheeks burn beet red. Pardon me. It was bright outside, and the sun looked like a whole egg yolk. The road looked as if it was silvered. The snow sparkled under the sunlight. I smiled, squinting from the blinding whiteness. Who cares if I don't have any true friends anymore? I have something more important. Someone who needs my help, who will never betray or hurt me. Family is the most important thing ever. That's what Dad always told me. And it's true. Family is very important.
Слышь, хорош рыбу тянуть.
Hey, what's up with the stupid grin? My numb lips immediately shrank. Yasha was shuffling his feet in the middle of the yard, his boots restless on the ice.
Я не тяну.
It's not a grin. I tried to go around him to no avail. Lady Fortune waved me goodbye, disappearing in the early twilight.
Торопишься на?
In a hurry, eh?
Немного. Меня папа ждет.
A little bit. Dad is waiting for me.
Я ему тиркну на пейджер, что ты не придешь на.
I'll shoot him a pager message that you're not coming, eh? Pager, a wireless telecommunications device that receives and displays alphanumerical voice messages. To send a message to another person's pager, you had to call a special line. Provide the recipient's number or name and read your message aloud. My eye flinched unwittingly. My skin dampened.
Идем на, к тебе дельце есть.
Let's go, eh? We have a small business to discuss. I felt chills run all over my body. I didn't like the sounds of that small business. Those words accompanied by spitting normally hid very dark deeds underneath them. Strangers that used to call our old apartment used to say, "Get your old man, we have a small business to discuss." Yasha turned around. He looked like an astronaut in his tight hood. If I were to imagine him as a sound, it'd be a deafening whistle, a signal given by someone who stands watch. To my demise, there was nobody at the backyard, apart from the grim-faced Romka. He stood there, his feet wide apart, with his right hand hidden behind his back. Got a gun or a knife on you, mates? You're about to shove me in the chest. Sorry, I'm not British. Romka's dry lips were tightly pursed. He kept shooting glances at me as he looked around.
Привел на.
There he is, eh?
Вижу.
I can see that.
Ну, здорово, Антоша.
Well, hello there, Antosha.
Что тебе нужно?
What do you want? Yep, figured. He slowly took out a thin, carnivorously shiny blade from behind his back. A knife, the steel butterfly of death that flies toward the victim's heartbeat. I stepped back instinctively and rammed my back into Yasha. Romka's minion pushed me back.
А мы с Бешей хотели узнать,
We wanted to know,
ты не держишь на нас обиду?
do you have any hard feelings for me or Biasha? Romka started picking on his yellow nail, looking at me with an evil smirk on his face.
Ну, там, в лесу. Мы были немного грубы с тобой.
Well, there in the forest, we kind of roughed you up.
Сам понимаешь, такое у нас воспитание на.
It's just our poor upbringing, you know?
Да, до вас, городских, далеко.
Yeah, not as cultured as you, city folk.
Вот порой нас и заносит.
So we get feisty sometimes. I nodded, my eyes glued to the knife. The blade glowed under the setting sun, and Rumka's eyes had the same evil glow. He stepped toward me. His knife traveled inches away from my coat. One movement and steel would cut into the cloth, and if he pushes deeper...
Нам одна птичка напела. Ты опять возле Полины отирался?
A little bird told us that you were snooping about Polina again. I was so scared that it took me a while to remember who Polina was. My brain was malfunctioning, my knees were shaking. Suddenly, our class rep slowly walked up to Romka from behind.
О, смотрю, мальчики, вы нашли общий язык.
I see you boys are getting along quite well.
За мной должок, Катька.
I owe you one, Katya.
Ой, не благодари, Ромочка. Я всегда на страже настоящей любви.
Oh, no need to thank me, Romoshka. I'm always fighting for true love. Interesting.
Да-да-да.
Da. Yes. I'll kill you, I swear.
Так, я не слышу. Ты к Полине подходил или нет?
I can't hear you. Were you near Polina or not?
Мы так болтали.
Well, we didn't hang out or anything.
Болтать будешь кишками, когда я тебе брюхо вскрою.
The only thing hanging out here will be your guts when I cut open your stomach. The blade slid across my sleeve with its dull side and reached my collar. The wind made my face cold, but a bead of sweat still trickled from my temple. A switch flipped in my head. It all made sense now. I remembered Romka's constantly sneaking glances at Polina. I remembered his scrawly handwriting in the questionnaire. Why didn't I study it more in depth?
Еще раз замечу рядом с Полинкой, пеняй на себя. Шишкой не отделаешься.
I see you near Polina even once, and you won't get away with a simple bump. Too bad, buddy. She's in love with us. Take a hike.
Усек?
Got it?
Да,
Yes.
Пшел вон!
Now scram. I was probably so hypnotized by the knife that Romka had to repeat his threat.
Вон!
Scram! I thought about the cold sharp blade when retreating from the yard. I was asking myself whether I had enough courage to break the promise I made to these bastards. The aftertaste of horrible water I drank from my meds lingered in my mouth. My thoughts were focused on Polina, but Romka's threat was also on my mind.
В общем,
Да,
я сегодня
ага,
книжку читала, там ребята учились в школе, прям как ты ходишь в школу, и они в школу ходили.
Да.
Вот. И у них был какой-то праздник, и они там поделки лепили и делали все своими руками. Нужно было сначала принести
I wandered around the house feeling intoxicated. I nodded to everything my sister said without trying to discern her words.
И потом они все это
Да,
разбирали
да.
и клеили на бумагу.
Olya was
И друг
talking
другу
non-stop,
дарили
at
открытки,
times
делали
lifting
там
up her arms and
всякие
laughing,
ящички,
only to then
которые
suddenly
потом
go quiet
подарки
and give
нужно
me
было
mom's
класть.
signature
И так
gnarly's
все
look.
красиво было. А одна девочка
А,
I was yanked out of the prison of my own mind, where seething thoughts picked at my brain like harpies, stopping me from coming back to reality. I stared back. Olya looked like a mini version of our mom right now. Well, to be precise, she looked like the person Mom turned into when we moved here, with her intimidating posture and her eyebrows directed toward the ceiling.
Ты меня не слушал?
You weren't listening to me, were you? She tried spitting out those words at me, copying facial expressions of the person she spent almost all of her free time with. For a moment, I felt like the light Olya exuded all of these years waned and wavered in the wind of prolonged changes. Very soon, my beautiful princess will turn into the dragon that was once guarding her prison tower. That thought was much scarier to me than any other horror sneaking up to me from the future.
Оля, прости,
Sorry, Olya.
ты же не сердишься, правда? Я просто задумался.
I didn't want to make you mad. I just got lost in thought. I looked around the room, my gaze jumping from one object to another like a hungry beast, trying to find anything that could distract Olya.
А давай в приставку поиграем.
Oh, I can't read right now. Let's play the console. Olya pouted, but there was a spark of interest in her small emerald eyes. The Snow Queen's eyes shot inside them, started thawing.
А как же второй джойстик?
And
Не
what,
работает же.
and what about the second controller? It's not working.
А папе починить некогда.
And Dad has no time to fix it.
Можем из пистолета пострелять.
We can play with the light gun.
В ковбоев или уток. Хочешь?
What do you want to play? Cowboys? Ducks?
Ты лучше меня сама играешь.
You're better than me at both.
Да ладно тебе.
Oh, come on.
Пади целый день тренировалась, пока меня дома не было.
You must have been practicing the whole time I was away from home. Olya burst out laughing. Her heart was warm once again. She's cute, man.
А как ты догадался?
How did you know?
Я сейчас знаешь, какая меткая. Считай, уже проиграл.
But I'm a good shooter now. You've already lost.
Не на того напала. Включай скорее.
You've picked the wrong fight here. Come on, turn it on. Little Olya jumped toward the TV set and, after flickering the power switch, started blindly feeling around the backside of the photon, trying to plug the console's cable into the antenna input. Bits of TV shows started flashing on the CTR screen when I armed myself with the remote to look for the channel with the sword of the Dendy signal. Dendy, an 8-bit gaming console that circulated in the CIS regions in the 90s. It was an unofficial third-generation Famicom or NES clone. Neither Famicom nor NES were even licensed for the Russian market, so Dendy was the only popular alternative for 8-bit gaming during that time period. Wow, that's awesome.
Что дома
I
интересного
mean,
происходило?
quite sad, but also awesome at the same time. Did anything interesting happen at home? It was a mundane question for me. I didn't put any actual meaning behind it. But Olya's expression suddenly changed. She lost all of the childish nonchalantness she worked so hard to acquire before.
Оль, что-то случилось?
What happened, Olya? My sister managed to put the cable in its place and started brushing off her dust-covered hand. She was clearly looking for the courage to continue the conversation.
Мама,
What about Mum? Mama, Olya went silent, and for a moment I thought I saw tears welling up in her eyes.
у нее опять был этот страшный.
She had the scary thing happen to her. Again. What do you mean again? My sister looked at me with her wet eyes.
Приступ.
She had a fit, huh? Oh no. This happened before, but it was a rare occasion. Now that we've moved to this godforsaken place, Mom's fits rose in frequency.
Папа принес большую рыбу,
Dad brought home a big fish.
но в газету была завернута и пахло так. Блeh.
It was wrapped in a newspaper and had a foul smell.
А мама опять начала злиться. Потом взяла нож.
Mom got angry again and then she took a knife. Olya squirmed, looking fearfully out of the window.
Они начали громко ругаться.
They started screaming at each other. I froze, imagining my little sister so small and unnoticeable, standing in the kitchen doorway. She wasn't even trying to hide, our parents just paid her no mind at all.
Потом мама ударила.
And then Mom struck it.
Вот так.
Like this. Olya slightly moved her fist downward, imitating a strike.
Рыбу.
She hit the fish.
Она была живая
It was
тоже.
still alive, Tosha.
Ей было больно. А мама...
It must have been in pain, and Mom... It was easy to imagine what happened next. The writhing fish with a blade between its fins squirted some foul-smelling musk into Mom's face. Whenever death got this close to my mom, be it when a person was hit by a bus in front of us and their blood was smeared all over the windshield, or when Grandma chopped off the chicken's head, Mom would always get into a weird, dreadful fit. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, seizure warning. Her eyes would roll over, she would fall on her face like a freshly cut tree, and started writhing just like that agonizing fish, turning over chairs and blurting out bits of scary sentences.
Папа, он
And-
ей помог?
And what about Dad? Did he help her? Olya shuddered, as if just remembering it pained her.
Да,
Yes,
но
but at
вначале
first,
он засмеялся.
he started laughing. He laughed at her? That son of a bitch.
Когда увидел, что маме плохо.
He let out an evil laugh when he saw that mom was in trouble,
А потом вдруг заплакал.
but then he cried. Olya's story made me raise an eyebrow. It seemed like the forest's oozing madness had only completely consumed our mom, but also infected our strong and courageous dad. I quickly stepped toward Olya and locked her in a tight embrace. She dug her face into my chest and I could feel my shirt becoming wet.
Зачем они так издеваются друг над другом тоже?
Why are they bullying each other, Tosha?
Они сумасшедшие.
Are they crazy? I stuttered, unable to justify the actions of our parents. I ran out of words, and all I could do was hug Olya even tighter. Dude! Oh my... Bliat! Suka bliat! Olya screamed and hid behind me.
Переключи скорей!
Turn it off quick! No matter how many times she saw this intro, she would always react the same, just like when she saw the owl. Yeah, fucking hell, what kind of intro was that? I mean, I also got goosebumps every time this ghastly face appeared on the screen, so I immediately complied with my sister's request. VID, a TV company logo depicting a ceramic head of the Chinese philosopher Gao Zhang with a three-legged toad on top of his head. It instilled horror in the whole generation of 90s kids in Russia. Finally, the game selection screen showed up for the cartridge that was bundled with the console. Too bad most of the names here were just different levels of the same game. I picked up the grey rectangular controller and started looking around the pixel letters to find the familiar English word for duck. Background music from the menu soothed Olya's mind and she asked in a calm voice,
А как твои дела в школе?
"How are things at school?"
Ничего хорошего.
"Nothing good.
Школа новая, а достается мне по-прежнему.
The school is new, but my treatment is the same.
Словно и не переезжали никуда. Задолбало.
As if we never moved. I'm so tired of this." Before despair could lead me down its depressing road toward the clutches of oppressive thoughts, something evil writhed deep inside my skull, awakening wild and pleasant memories.
Хотя, знаешь, кое-что хорошее все же случилось.
Actually, something good did happen. Olya watched with hope-filled eyes as a wicked smile spread on my face, faintly resembling the wound from a box cutter knife.
Еще один мальчик
Another
пропал.
boy went missing.
Тоша, разве это хорошо? Почему ты так говоришь?
Tosha, do you think that's good? Why do you say that? My sister's voice trembled when she looked into my eyes through the thick lenses.
Знаешь, а может, тот пропавший Вова сам виноват, что с ним это случилось?
You know, that other missing boy, Volva, maybe what happened to him was all his fault.
Может, он совершил нечто настолько плохое, что не заслуживал жить.
Maybe he did something so bad that he no longer deserved to live. Jesus, don't say that.
Не будь таким жестоким, пожалуйста!
Don't be so cruel, please. Olya pressed her knees into her chin and hugged them with her hands, trying to take up less space, as if she wanted to shrink or even disappear altogether. It was the only reasonable thing for us to do, go missing among all the other broken toys, and never encounter evil parents or mad classmates. We're the only ones left for each other, the only ones who can protect, listen, and sympathize. Which means she's bound to listen to what I think about them all. These beasts pretending to be children that are so eager to bully the weak. It was my turn to speak.
Думаю, они не последние.
I think they won't be the last. My breathing quickens. My fingers start banging on the wooden floor.
Такие люди, как они, недостойны жить, ходить с нами в одну школу.
People like them are not worthy of living, going to the same school with us,
Смотреть на твой свет.
or looking at your light. My thoughts got tangled, they slipped away along with my calmness.
Тошенька, хватит! Ты меня пугаешь!
Tosha, stop it, you're scaring me.
Не бойся, я смогу тебя защитить.
Don't be scared, I can protect you. Then I finally noticed that Olya was looking at me like I was a stranger.
Кто ты?
Who are you? The rage that welled up inside me subsided. It hid under the guise of my cowardliness, leaving me alone with the growing feeling of guilt for scaring my sister.
Оленька, прости, я не хотел.
Olya, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Видимо, я схожу с ума в этой школе.
I guess I'm just going crazy in that school. She rushed to embrace me, barely holding back her tears.
Все хорошо, Тоша. Только, пожалуйста, пожалуйста, никогда так больше не говори.
It's okay, Tosha. Just please never say anything like this again.
Клянусь маминым сердцем.
I swear on Mom's heart. Olya flashed me a bitter smile.
А сам сказал, что так говорить нехорошо.
And you told me I shouldn't say that. And you told me I shouldn't say that.
Ты права. Давай
You're
лучше
right.
играть.
Let's start playing already.
Только чур я первая.
Let's go first. Player 1, get ready. Am I moving? Oh, I am. Let's go. I'm good at this game. Hey,
Что это я тебе поддалась?
I was going easy on you here. I'm sorry. Okay, let's go. Oh, crap.
О, это ты виноват, что я промазала.
Ooh, it's your fault I missed. Okay, one more round. Final round, yeah. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Nice.
Неседова! Ты ближе к экрану стоял! Я с тобой так больше не играю!
This doesn't count. You're close to the screen. I'm not playing with you anymore. Ah, please, don't say that.
Антон!
My mom only managed to get through to me on her third attempt. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop here for the day. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you made it up to this point, I just wanted you to know, have a great day. You're awesome. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, it is what it is. But thank you for supporting me, and have a wonderful, beautiful day. I'm going to save this over here. Awesome. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.